NRL vid 090 back here with another tipping video today, and this is my magic round tips for the NRL 2021 season. Look, we haven't had magic round since 2019, so that's about 2 years ago now, and obviously we didn't have it last year because of COVID, unfortunately, but that's alright. We've got it back this year, and I'm looking forward to magic round. I really am keen for it because I think it's a very fun weekend of footy. So all the games are going to be played at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, so that's pretty interesting, and I think it's pretty cool in a way. Unfortunately, I won't be attending, but I've got things on, and just not the year to go. But next year, it's definitely going to be the top priority for me to go to the Magic Round next year. But until then, I'm sure it's going to be a fun weekend for everyone who's attending. Magic Round this week. So the first game of Magic Round, it's the Tigers and the Knights, and the ins and outs for the Tigers. Looks like Zach Cassini's out, replaced by Tommy Talau on the wing. And it also looks like that Jock Madden will make his NRL debut off the bench. And also Moses Mbai shifts to 5'8" this weekend. And with Adam Dewey shifting to the centres, which is a very interesting move. For the Knights, Jahamat Shibasaki's out for the Knights, so replacing him. I'm pretty sure it's... I'm not sure who it is, but he's out, Jahamat Shibasaki. But anyway, the Knights mainly have the same team as last week's win over the Raiders, so there's no real changes for the Knights this week. In this game, I've got the Knights to win in a very high-scoring game, so I've got the Knights to win 36 points to 22 over the Tigers. I just think that both teams can't really defend that well. Both teams have a lot of points in them, but they can't both defend, so I reckon the Knights will get the win, though, 36 points to 22 over the Tigers in a high-scoring game. Now, pretty much the main game, it's also Friday night at 8 p.m. It's the Seagulls and the Broncos, my team Manly up against Brisbane. The ins and outs for Manly, there's no real changes, apart from Martin Tapau returning this week for Manly due to concussion he suffered last week. And and it seems like Sean Keppie will drop back to the bench with Zach Sadler dropping out to reserves. And that's the only changes there for Manly. For the Broncos, unfortunately Patrick Carrigan's out for the rest of the year due to an ACL injury, so that's very unfortunate for Patrick Carrigan. But he will be replaced by Thomas Flegler at number 13 at lock, and the rest of the team seems to be the same for the Broncos. In this game, I will back Manly to beat the Broncos this week, 36 points to 16. I think Manly will be a little bit too good for Tommy Turbo, Sherry Everton 4 and all firing. I think that's a bit too much for the Broncos to handle, but I think Brisbane could definitely turn up, but I think Manly will be a bit too good. And the funny thing is, it's Manly's home game at Brisbane as well, so Manly will actually get the Broncos home sheds, and the Broncos will be the away team at Suncorp Stadium, which would be very funny. But moving on to Saturday, it's the first game of 3. It's the Bulldogs and the Raiders at 3 p.m. Now, for the Bulldogs, Nick Meaney will shift to the centres this week, with Tui Katoa coming back into the side on the wing. And Kyle Flanagan's been rested this week or dropped, but I think Kyle Flanagan should be just rested, shouldn't be playing reserves in my opinion, but should be just rested for this week. But anyway, he's replaced by Jack Averillo at halfback, and Brandon Wakeham will shift into that 5'8" role for Averillo. And Dylan Napa returns to the Bulldogs as well, so that means, I don't know who drops here, but yeah, Napa returns to prop for the Bulldogs, and also Corey Waddell shifts to the bench with Chris Smith starting in the back row, and the rest of the team's the same. For the Raiders, Jordan Rapana has been dropped, so replacing him in the wing is Semi Valame, and also Ryan Sutton's been dropped, I believe. Or no, he's in. I think he got cast, so he can't play. Or no, he had an elbow injury. That's right, against Newcastle last week, so he won't be playing. And replacing him at lock is Hudson Young, and coming off the bench is Ryan James. And replacing Joe Tarpany, who's been dropped, I believe, as well. And that's the numbers Louis. And Josh Hodgson also joins the bench for the Raiders. So Josh Hodgson will play number 14 off the bench with Tom Starling starting at hooker. In this game, I've got the Raiders to win in a very close game. Because I can't trust Canberra. I just cannot trust them. I mean, I would not be surprised if the Bulldogs cause an upset. But the thing is, I feel like Raiders have more strike in them and all that. But honestly, if Bulldogs win, we'll not be surprised at all because I can't trust Canberra. They're in awful form. But I've got the Raiders to win in a close game. I'll go the Raiders to win 22 points to 18 over the Bulldogs, but I'm not confident at all, to be honest. Anyway, the next game is the Sharks and Rabbitohs at 5 p.m. And the ins and outs of the Sharks. So Jesse Ramien's obviously out due to injury, and replacing him in the centres is Josh Dugan, who comes back from reserves. And Andrew Fafita also comes off the bench for the Sharks this weekend. So good to see Andrew Fafita finally get a game with the Sharks this year. For the Rabbitohs, the big in for Souths is Adam Reynolds is back from thumb injury, so he will play a halfback with Dean Hawkins dropping to reserves this week. And the rest of the team seems to be the same for the Rabbitohs, despite last week's big 50-0 thrashing by Melbourne. In this game, I will go for Souths to bounce back this week against the Sharks, 26 points to 10. So yeah, Souths win 26 points to 10, and I think Souths will bounce back this week and will be a little bit too strong for the Sharks. Now the final game of Saturday, it's the last game. It's the Roosters and the Cowboys at 7 p.m. Now, I think, in my opinion, this will be a game of the round because I think both teams are in some okay form. I mean, Roosters are missing players and they're still doing pretty well with Cowboys, who are hitting some great form. Cowboys, they're definitely looking like a top 8 contender now, the Cowboys. So this will be a great game, I reckon. So, yeah, Drew Hutchinson's out this week due to a punctured lung, so he'll miss a couple of weeks. And replacing Drew Hutchinson at 5'8", it's Lachlan Lamb, who returns from knee injury, so it's a timely return for Lachlan Lamb to be playing 6. And the rest of the team seems to be the same for Roosters, apart from Lachlan Lamb. That's the only change for the Roosters, Lachlan Lamb being back. For the Cowboys, I tell you what, they have no changes this week after last week's 1-point win over the Broncos, which I think they should just keep the same team as last week. I mean, keep the winning formula, of course. Now, in this game, I've got the Roosters to win 28 points to 18 over the Cowboys, but I'll tell you what, I would not be surprised if the Cowboys pull off an upset against the Roosters, because I think there's an upset that should happen this round, and I think this is one of them that could be likely to happen, but I will back Roosters just to win 28-18 over the Cowboys. Moving on to Sunday, it's the Warriors and the Eels to start the final day of Magic Round, and it's at 1:50 p.m. in the afternoon. This game starts out. So for the Warriors, Bailey Sirenden's out, and replacing him in the back row is Ben Merck-Masila, who suffered a concussion last week, so he'll be back for the Warriors. And the rest of the team seems to be the same so that's the only change for the Warriors, with Merck-Masila back in the team. For the Eels, Dylan Brown's suspended this week, so replacing him at 5'8" is the young debutant, which is Brad Arthur's son, Jacob Arthur, who will make his debut. And also, Mariah Niokoro is also out for the Eels this week due to suspension as well, so replacing him is Wagga Blake. And Raymond Stone will come off the bench for the Eels as well, for kicking Hipgrave. In this game, I am tipping an upset. Yep, I am tipping an upset this week. I've got Warriors to beat the Eels this week. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've got the Warriors in the upset because I think one upset has to happen this round. I can just see it, and I think Warriors will get the win over the Eels. So I've got Warriors to win 16 points to 12. No, actually, no, 16-14. So I've got Warriors to beat the Eels 16-14 on Sunday. I think Warriors will get the win over Parramatta in an upset. And now the next game is Storm and the Dragons at 4 p.m. And the ins and outs for the Storm. So Nico Hines is still at fullback, but Ryan Pappenhausen's been named in reserves. And Cameron Munster's also out with injury, so replacing him at 5'8" is Riley Jacks. And Kenny Bromwich replaces Harry Grant at hooker, because Harry Grant's been injured. So Bromwich replaces him at hooker, while Tukama Kamiko moves into the back row spot. And Tyson Smithy replaces Brandon Smith off the bench, because Brandon Smith's been suspended. And that's the team right there for the Storm. For the Dragons, Makala Ravalawa's back this week on the wing, so that's why Matthew Fiagi drops out. And the rest of the team seems to be the same. There are other changes that I know of in that Dragons team. But yeah, look, in this game, Storm should win pretty easily. I'm sorry to Dragons fans, but I think Storm will be a little bit too good for the Dragons here. So I've got Storm to win 34 points to 6 over the Dragons this week, but hopefully Dragons can turn up. And now the final game of Magic Round, it stops with the Titans and the Panthers. And so the Titans have no changes after last week's win over the Tigers. And for the Panthers, Kurt Capel is out, so replacing Kurt Capel on the back row, it's Liam Martin, with Jermaine Hopgood making his NRL debut off the bench. And yeah, look, in this game, I think Panthers should be a bit too strong for the Titans. So I've got Panthers to win 30 points to 14 over the Titans. So yeah, Panthers should be a bit too good for Titans, I think. But guys, thanks for watching my video. Good luck to your teams this week in Magic Round. It should be an awesome week of footy, and I'm keen for it. So guys, see you in the next video.